Hello, this is Mark from My Organic Gardening, and today I want to show you how to plant up. The easiest thing you can plant in your garden is potatoes, and now is a good time to do it. The reason why is because the temperatures are still cool and it's early, and it doesn't matter if they're red potatoes or brown potatoes, indeterminate or determinate, and that just means early, late, or mid varieties. Now, if you don't have a green thumb, watch this video. It's the easiest thing you can grow in your garden, and it will produce at least anywhere from 5 to 6 more potatoes depending on the soil that you have. They're so easy to do, and this video will show you, so stay tuned. We're going to plant them in a free cardboard box, and I'll show you a close-up of that very shortly. Easy to do, like I said. The emphasis on easy, and guess what? You're going to have a successful garden of potatoes, growing them in a cardboard box, and you'll love yourself for it. And if you don't like potatoes, you should try them at least, because this is the utmost amazing thing you can grow, and it will give you confidence to get that green thumb going. So we're going to start out with a nice sized brown box, and I'll give you the dimensions in a little bit. But it's got to be brown cardboard. We don't want anything glossy. That's not good for your garden. Now, the brown box here also has, and I'll give you a close-up on this, has a nice little certificate label here how strong the box is. See here that the weight, or the gross weight of pounds that it can hold, is 95 pounds. So anything that's at least 80 and higher in the number is a good strong box to put in your garden. Now you can see here the box has its own dimensions on it, which is very rare. But anyway, here we have it's 18 1/4 inches long this way, 11 3/4 inches. That's the height from the bottom of the box to the top of the box, and this is the width, 10 5/8. Now the most important number is the one in the middle here, and that's 11 3/4. Now that's our height. We want a box at least 8 inches tall, because that's how much soil we're going to fill up in the box once we put our potatoes on the bottom. Next step is we want to remove any kind of shipping label that's on there too. That's not good for our soil. And also on the bottom of the box here, we have plastic tape, and we want to remove that. We don't want that in the garden either. We just ripped off our plastic tape, so we'll just put that in our trash. We're going to start with the bottom of our box first. We're going to fold in all the flaps. We're going to leave it open to the bottom. We want good drainage, and this is going to be our top. Now our top, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to fold it inwards like so, and now we have a nice double wall container here like that. Nice, and we're all set to go. Now we're just going to pick a spot in our garden like so, put it down, and we're all set for planting. I have my container set on a bed of leaves. Now, if you don't have leaves, it doesn't matter. You can set it right on top of the soil in your garden. You can place it right on top of the grass, and no, you don't have to put anything down on the bottom. The grass will not go through, because you're going to be adding 8 inches of material here, and that will not let that grass grow up, especially in the springtime. This size box, we're going to plant up 2 potatoes, and we're going to put them about, let's say, 6 to 8 inches apart, not touching each other. Now, what's nice about this is that they're already growing, and I did some other videos, if you can look back, that they were tested prior to planting. And again, if you're not sure, always buy organic potatoes. They will sprout earlier for you than the other store-bought potatoes, and that's what I'm talking about here, store-bought potatoes. Now we have them just laying right on top of the leaves, and again, they can lay on top of your soil, or they can lay on top of your grass. The choice is yours what you want to do. I want to share a very important little tip, and I don't know if you heard this from anybody else, but it's a really great tip. Now we have our potato here that's growing already. Now a lot of people, to save on cost of planting up their potatoes, they'll cut this in half like so. Now just be careful. Now what you're going to do when you cut this, let me get this cut right so. Prior to planting, you're going to take this and cut this about, let's say, a couple days ahead of time, at least 2 to 3 days ahead of time, so it forms a nice scab on top of the potato. Now, almost done. Very dull knife today for some reason. Now you can see I have 2 pieces here, and those 2 pieces and it's very important. Now this one's kind of a small one. It does have an eye on it, but the most important thing is not how many eyes are on the potato when you cut it into pieces. And this is where a lot of people go wrong with problems in the garden. Now this one has at least maybe 2 or 3 that are growing here. Now the key to this is the size that you cut. You can't cut small pieces. This should weigh at least 1 ounce before you plant it, and after it scabs over, it's got to heal a little bit for 2 or 3 days. But the key point is those eyes here isn't the amount of eyes on it, is the size of the piece that's left here. Now how do you determine how big of a piece that you cut off or weigh it if you don't have a scale at your home or something like that? So here's a little trick. If you have 5 quarters in one hand that weighs 1 ounce, just kind of put the other potato in the other hand and then kind of balance them out, and you'll know that this is going to weigh at least 1 ounce, because you can just balance it out between the two, and that's going to give you a successful planting of this potato. Here's a bag of worm castings that one of my subscribers wanted me to test out. So they sent it to me for free, and I'm going to be working with it this year in my garden every so often compared to my own worm castings. Now what's key to this is that you want to take the worm castings or compost or your own soil, and we'll work on your own soil in a little bit too, and you just want to cover that potato. You don't have to cover the whole box with the potato. You just want to cover the surface of a potato like so, and at least about another inch on top, because it's going to go around. The reason we're doing this is because all those eyes that were in here, like so, these eyes, they're all going to be sending roots out from this area too, and those roots want to pick up nutrients and water. We don't have to worry about the whole rest of the box or anything else either. We just have to worry what's around that potato. Here we have our other potato that's not covered yet, so we're just going to take our own native soil and place it right on top of that, like so. Now, what you can do, just to be on the safe side, I don't know how much soil you have available or compost. You can use compost too, but if you want to, you can put at least, let's say, 4 inches of soil inside this container and then build it up from the bottom up, and that will be fine. But if you don't have a lot, you can do what I just did. Now I prefer you to fill up the box at least 4 inches up to the top already with soil. Or compost, your choice. I don't know what you have, and then we can fill the rest of the way up with leaves or hay. Now also too, if your soil is not that good and you're not trusting it, again, buy some earthworm castings. You only need a handful or 2. Now the other thing you can do, which is awesome, is you can take used coffee grounds. Now this box, you know the size already, so I can take at least 2 cupfuls of coffee grounds and lightly sprinkle it in there and build my soil up or material in here and just put that in there, and that will keep things from sticking together and give aeration to your soil, because potatoes love to have it where it's easy to grow from the surface up. And also too, potatoes don't root downwards, they will root upwards only. Here we have at least 4 inches of soil from the bottom of that box upwards. Now, what you can do is, if you don't have enough soil here, what's this? Nice little worm in there. We'll let him be, or she be in there. Now, what you can do is the rest of the way, or just for covering right now, we can add leaves on top, like so, to keep that soil moist. Now again, you should water this in, and you should make it at least wet, but it will drain through to the bottom, and you always want to keep it, let's say, mildly damp throughout the growing season. So these leaves are going to protect it from the wind and also from the sunshine later on too, and the potatoes will grow up through that, and we can add more leaves to the top of the box. Cardboard box will at least last you for anywhere from 80 to 110 days long in your growing season. Now it might be different per areas, but I found out that it does very well. It doesn't have to hold the strength of a lot of soil in there, so it's not going to bow out or break or fall apart. And also too, the box is made of cardboard. That's fungi food, and fungi food is actually something that you want in your soil. So all those microbes that we have in our soil right now that we put in there, or whatever we put in it, even the leaves, is going to break down that fungi material and actually help those potatoes grow. So how easy was that? Simple store-bought potatoes, organically grown, putting in a box that are already sprouting, and also they don't even have to be sprouting. If they're organic, just put them in there, they're going to be fine, and cover with some soil, especially around the potato itself, on top of the potato. Don't worry about the bottom so much, and everything will be fine. Now also too, when you lay out your cardboard boxes, the only thing that you're going to come in trouble with in the future is something called Colorado potato beetle, and I'll go over that in a separate video. Now that's going to come along and lay eggs and eat your plant. Now it can be very, let's say, harmful to your potatoes, and what we're going to do is we're just going to put a netting over the top of it. So look in the size of the nettings out there, and the netting you want is at least to go up at least 2 feet, and then put a dome over it, and also to weigh it down on the side. So you got to have enough room. So let's say if you just make a single row here, and it's like, say the netting is only 4 feet wide, then you have plenty of room to make a dome over the top of your potatoes to keep those Colorado potato beetles off. We don't like to spray too much, and even if it's organic, but again, we don't have to worry about it. We can put a netting on top of it because the potatoes don't have to be pollinated by bees. So something to think about when you lay out your garden or your boxes out there, and then it will be all fine in the future. Thanks for watching. Give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe. I want to see you back here again shortly so we can update you on the potatoes and the growth through the whole year. Again, there's early, mid, and late varieties. It's all about timing, anywhere from 80 to 110 days, and it doesn't matter. You don't have to worry about it from your store-bought potatoes. It's just that you have to just keep them moist in a good growing condition. Thank you very much, and I'll see you soon. Happy gardening. Bye.